Welcome to the Big Week in Gaming podcast, and what do you know, it's been a big week in gaming. I'm Intergot for episode 58 on this Halloween Sunday, 31st of October 2021. As always, I'm joined by Mike, audio podcast, Swinny. In this week's show, we'll be discussing what the hell is going on with Facebook, Meta, and Oculus, highlights from the latest PlayStation State of Play, impressions of the controversial Switch Online expansion pack, and our super special showcase of spooky games. As always, if you want to support our show, please do us a favor by liking, following, subscribing, or reviewing us on your social platform of choice, podcaster catcher of choice. You can find everything at bigwigpod.com, bigwigpod.com. Swinny, I see a note in the run sheet about a certain tier list. But is I actually listened back to the show for once, and I was thinking, are you really going to do this in December? December? I guess it does make sense because then you can go sort of like the Chemco definitive Chemco tier list as of 2021 or something. You could do a yearly tier list from that point on. You would be the number one global Chemco fan, surely. Or just oh. So when you were talking about that, I didn't realize you were actually saying like that site is purely dedicated to Chemco. That is that is phenomenal. That's awesome. All right. Well, speaking of games, why don't we get into our regular segment around what we've been playing this week? And starting with you this week, Mike, what have you been playing? Yeah, okay. That's actually exactly what I thought. Okay, as soon as he's like, this is a shit game, he rips into the devs so bad that he tells me don't reach out to the devs. And then it's like, I'm gonna play this game. So what do you think of it? When are we gonna talk about Echo Generation? I thought you were gonna talk about it now. When? When? I gotta say, Mike. So, okay, we're gonna bring our community into this. So, Mike, we've all known each other for like 25 years. It's kind of crazy, actually. But Mike is a very special person. You know, he's look at this overlay. If you're, go to bigwigpod.com and go to the YouTube link. Awesome overlay. Looks so sick. He did it, so quickly. But Mike's also one of the most unpredictable people and like ADHD people. We've said to him like 5 times that let's hype up the spooky game, not say what it is, not reveal it, but just say, ooh, there's going to be a spooky game later. And then he's just like, we're going to play. I played out. It doesn't matter. It just makes me laugh. What else have you been playing, Mike? Also, another thing you don't have in the run sheet, but go on. Oh my god, you can't. I said this, Swinny. He's gonna buy the OLED Switch. He's bought the OLED Switch, listeners. He can't help himself. Terrible. Terrible. No. Wait. Can I ask a different question? Can I just say, in the lifetime that the Switch came out, 2017, in the household that you've been in, right? How many Switches have been acquired? Not like, don't forget about, if you've sold them, bought them, like how many have been bought? I think I've got the same amount. Wait, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 at least. I've got kids. I've got like a wife who also plays. Oh, are you talking about? I've bought 2 Switches for people, so 7 at least for me. You're good. Mrs. Mike, I think she does listen to the show. So this is the other thing I want to bring the listeners in on, right? And I don't think you know this, Mike. Sweeney's losing it. So I think so. Last week on the show or in the stream, I can't remember. He said, "Oh, is she listening to this or is she watching this? Is she watching the stream or, she's actually commenting in our YouTube video." Yeah. Oh, you didn't know when I sent you the image, Swinny? I mean, it's not like a secret name. That's awesome. That's so awesome. That's awesome. Well, just quickly then, because have you just bought the OLED Switch or you played it a bit? Oh, okay. So you haven't even booted it up. They all sold out so quickly. I've got one, like an AM film one, but it's a glass screen this time instead of a plastic screen, right? But it's a very, like, it's one of the worst glass screens. It's not a Gorilla Glass one or anything. They give it like a 2 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10 in terms of scratch resistance. So yeah. No, it doesn't. Nah, you need to get a screen protector for it and you need to put it on it. So yeah, it's got a, like, I think I know what you're talking about. It's like what I did with my plasma when I went to clean it and I scraped off a bit of its anti-glare film that's on top of it. It still makes me sad to this day. It's still in my room actually, but yeah. Well, next week. Which is totally you. It scratches. Oh, and I'm not saying to peel it off. It's the same as like the plasma screen. Like has a thin film on top of it. You just put another screen on top of that, basically. Yeah, just like any switch, you definitely need it, Mike. I've been an idiot and been lazy and haven't put it on yet. I have it, but I've been using it. But I've been so careful about putting it back into like my protective case. But moving on to me quickly, I don't think it's that interesting. But Swinny said I need to mention it that I had more amiibo purchases. Well, okay, so like I said about it, the Animal Crossing cards that came out, right? And I know far too much about all of this stuff. It's like legitimately sad, right? So Animal Crossing, the new update came out, and there's a whole bunch of villages that have never been in Amiibo card form, and now they got a Series 5. So that's, you know, those characters that missed out previously. And my wife has all of them so far. So I'm like, okay, I want to get the box set of them. So then it's so sad that I'm even emailing people that I know in like the retailers. I'm like, hey, when are you getting these box sets? I want to buy them before they sell out. And they're like, oh, yeah, it literally, they go, oh, we're going to put it up in like a minute. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I bought it. I'm like, okay, done. Because I have found always with the box sets, they've contained every single card. So it's like the most economic way to buy them. Um, yeah, they are, yeah. Yeah, they're amiibo. So I could go down a really crazy path. There's also amiibo that's like exclusive in Japan that are like cards that you can only get at the 7-Eleven. But they've officially been called amiibo. But you know, there's always people who go, oh, it's not really amiibo, it is amiibo, blah, blah, blah. Everyone collects differently. So that's an interesting one as well. Like I actually know way too much about Amiibo. I'm actually like I'm in these Amiibo forums and I'm correcting people on the Amiibo forum, and it's like I feel like I understand Swinny now on True Achievements. Yeah, literally. People are like, oh, why, you know, in America they have one special card in a pack and then 5 normal cards. We get ripped off in Australia. It's one special card and then like 2, you know, like normal cards. I'm like, you dummy, that's better because there's 24 special cards and 24 normal cards. So you want the ratio to be as, you know, 1-to-1 as possible, right? I'm like, why do I know this stuff? It's scary. Um, that's true. It's super nerdy. Yeah, the Luke Goblin one's really interesting. And then I'll move on from Amiibo. That actually is a Diablo toy, like figure, that they'd already released, right? Just like exactly the same. Then when they released it as the Luke Goblin one, they kept the exact same molding and put like an Amiibo NFC thing at the bottom of it. So it actually doesn't have like an Amiibo style bottom to it. It doesn't have a pack, like the packaging or anything. It's all like used the generic Diablo thing, and then they've put the branding of Amiibo on it. So it's actually it's probably the weirdest Amiibo that's out there. So it doesn't sell for that much. I've got a few of them, I think, on the shelves somewhere. Yeah, and then other than that, you know, we're going to chat about a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about. Like, strangely enough, the Facebook stuff I want to talk about more than Mike does. NSO, so Nintendo Switch Online. Also played a spooky game that Mike questions whether it's a Halloween game or not. You'll have to listen to the end of the show to decide. Look at this. I'm trying to build intrigue here, Mike. And then the last thing is I don't even know if you know this, Sweetie, but there's a new Mastodon album that came out yesterday. So I've been listening to that. Yeah, that's a cool song. I'm really, really enjoying this album. It's quite long, so it's going to take a few weeks to really like sink in and everything like that. But I'm really looking for, like, I'm really enjoying it so far. And I had a really cool Mastodon shirt that I got at a concert that then got destroyed by my son who was eating a candy bar and then it went all over me. It's like all chocolate on it. I'm like, this is a yellow Mastodon shirt that was like bought on tour that I can't get again. I'm like, oh, far out. I'm not going to be able to get this like cleaned out. But all good. And Halloween was fun. Halloween was fun. Well, one of my sons went as a ghost. That was very so yeah. When you have a white outfit that's got like a pointed hood and stuff, I was debating it. Didn't trigger anything with anyone else, thank God. And then no, we don't. Oh, you're trying to dox me plus getting it incorrect. No, no, no. It's quite multicultural where I live. Like it's just probably a little bit like more affluent. But yeah, no, it was really cool. And then my youngest had like a pumpkin outfit. It looked like a little pumpkin. He's only like one, so it was really cute. And then my wife went as a pumpkin head. So she was taking candy from people. I'm like, I'm not sure if people really want to give you candy. But... And how about you, Swinny? Go on. Like slutty nurse and slutty, yeah, slutty blank. Yeah, that's fine. I like you come up with such a perv saying that. Well, I just on that, no, but just on that because that's not going to make sense for like probably most of our audience, which is American. Like in Australia, when we were growing up, Halloween wasn't really a thing. Like it was kind of like a few people did it, but like when I said a few, it's probably like 1 out of 20 houses, I would say, right? But now, like in our neighborhood, it's probably 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 houses like do something. Yeah. I think so too. And do something, right? Do something. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's a critical mass thing, right, Swinny? It's like, more and more people do it. Like even I was like almost anti Halloween before, but now I'm like, people are doing it. Just get on board and just have a bit of fun with it. Who cares? Like kids are getting candy. This is funny. Like we're giving it, like we were going over the top. Like we bought so much from Costco. We're giving people like massive handfuls of like candy, and they'll blow. They were like, "Oh my god, this crazy house is giving like handful of candy." Pretty much. Oh, you know what we should do? Like maybe in the off season when it's quiet, video game wise, we should have like a candy or a chocolate tier list. But maybe like do the more Australian stuff. Cool. Over to you, Swinny. Mm. Mm, mm. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. Ticks all the Dark Souls and Metroidvania boxes and everything like that. Nice. All right, well, let's jump in the first bit of the news this week. And we open with the world's largest social media company has formally changed its name from Facebook to the very meta name of Meta. And the key gaming related highlights, which were in the Facebook Connect, which I thought they would call the Meta Connect afterwards, but they didn't, still the Facebook Connect, are the following. So in line with the new company head name, Meta, the company's, stated, and, obviously Zuckerberg is the leader of Meta, that they want to push very aggressively into the metaverse space. So the idea of, it's almost like that second life, having another place to go to and becoming the platform for that, where everything else then connects into that. So currently, if you look at it, it's pretty much just Roblox and Fortnite that occupy that space, where you have concerts in Fortnite, you have all these other events in Fortnite. The latest Star Wars film was promoted in Fortnite, and even Christopher Nolan's latest film had mentions in Fortnite. And, obviously Zuckerberg is seeing that space, wanting to push into it. Other changes that they're going to make is they're going to completely remove the Oculus brand name and the branding. So from 2023 onwards, Oculus will be no more. It will be all Meta. So they've already said it's going to be the Meta Quest, Meta Horizon for like the home page, like everything's going to be Meta. And going along with that rebrand, and one of the biggest criticisms that I've always had of Oculus Quest 2 in particular is that as a new user, you have to use your Facebook account, and a lot of people get their Facebook account banned, or don't want to put their name on it. And they have actually acknowledged the criticism, but they haven't been very definitive about what that means. So it's certainly going to be some kind of Meta account that you need. And they did say they want to expand that to other accounts, but when they did say that, I went back and checked it. They said they specifically said work accounts, which to me implies, something like, the companies that we work at, maybe you can get a VR device and connect to have meetings and stuff like that. So I think that's what they're covering. Outside of that, they also have announcements around Project Cambria. So this was heavily rumored, but it's basically a pro VR version of the Quest 2, more in line with their original devices, which were more almost pro devices, really. And this is going to have eye tracking and facial expression tracking. No dates as to when it's going to come out, or, like even any horizon there, or more than just a bit of a tease in terms of the way it looks. But outside of this, Facebook or Meta, I guess you could say now, and Oculus, they have been doing a lot in the VR space that I've been pretty interested in. Like, I was really keen to get Resident Evil 4 VR. So it happens that the Oculus Quest 2 that I normally try to get access to is occupied at the moment. So it is being used, though. That's a positive thing. And then one thing that I actually got interested in more than the recent announcement that we had about a trilogy of games that have been re-released is that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is actually going to have the same Resident Evil 4 VR treatment and have a complete VR overhaul. So, Mike, as the number one VR proponent, you must have been very excited about all this news. Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah, sorry about that. I pressed the mute unmute button. It didn't unmute me. Maybe Zuckerberg's hacked my system to get me out of it. Yeah, look, like on the trustworthiness of Zuckerberg, like honestly, and I said this to someone, I think I trust him less than the Chinese government. Like, it's just like the guy just, I don't, like, there's something about him, the way he's wired, everything he's done, his whole history. Like, I understand why he's successful, of course, because he's willing to compromise everything. He doesn't care. And like, you even see with the latest whistleblower with Facebook how they've got data and they see it and they go, okay, we change these features, and then they have more suicides and all these kind of things. It's like, oh yeah, but we make more money though. Right? And it's like, okay, we'll just keep doing that. It's really like a, like, it disturbs me massively. But then at the same time, I'm actually, one of those people that is a huge believer in the metaverse as a concept. And I think like maybe it's going to be more influential than even the internet, which is saying something because it's probably one of the most influential things in our lifetime, the internet's emergence and like the World Wide Web and everything. But I just think, if you get like, I can't imagine there being multiple metaverses that people engage with. I really do think it's a bit of a land grab, like you've had with, sharing a photo. It's pretty much like Instagram has just dominated that space completely now, short form communication of like, X amount of words, Twitter, right? Like people don't have multiple services anymore. It just over time eliminates to just one or two. And I also think, yeah, you're going to get to a space where there is like one metaverse winner or maybe two, and then everyone else will plug into it. So look, I think it's really smart what like Zuckerberg's doing and how he's approaching it. I just, like I said, I don't trust the guy and he scares me. And I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, like this guy being in charge of the metaverse. That's just like, it's literally like a sci-fi movie, like a dystopian future. Yeah, you guys are gonna fucking die right now. Because